on SDGX Live, and I can see that already it's pretty wide angle. We don't need all this stuff messing it up. It's not so bad. Okay, there we are. Okay, so we are online. I don't know if the audio is coming through, but we have some sound effects which we're just having some fun with, as you know, just to kind of give it a little bit of fun. Okay, so we are online. It is Change Wednesday. Peace plus one. Join the fun in Conscious Land. It's working.
Yeah.
Oh, and the voice, everything.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we've had a confirmation from our engineer, our sound engineer. So that's great, and you can hear even the sort of the special effects. Here?
No.
Can you hear that? Oh, you know what? It's probably just picking up from the.
Oh,
from
might
this.
be.
Yeah, it's not picking up from the. It's not picking up from the microphone. Well, that's interesting. Okay, folks. So here we are in Conscious Land. It is. We're actually in Hong Kong, China. But we're taking a look at the screen. We've got some lights on. And it's more of a test than anything else, because even though we have been doing broadcasts on social media for quite a long time, actually. It's the first time we've got this setup, and I think this setup is quite good. Maybe it's a little too high, but the idea is you have a few people in the image along with us. So I do have this. What do you call this? It's a mixer, I guess. You know, we have this mixer. It appears to be working, but I guess it's not actually working. It's not actually making any additional sound. So what I'll do is unplug this, because it's apparently not doing anything. And we'll just pull the seat up. Oh, here. Pull the seat up on the other side. And kind of sit in the foreground. And again, you have to apologize. I have to apologize. It's a bit of a test run, but that's not too bad. That's sort of okay. Move this lamp a little bit over like that. Oh, that's good, quite good actually. Okay.
Can we lower it? I think.
The lighting's okay.
Yeah. Can we lower it a bit?
Yeah, we can bring it down. Pull. Oh, I guess like this. Here we go. Okay, and then we'll just tip this up. Got to be careful we don't either snap it off or cause it to. There, that's pretty good. This is a bit wobbly. It's an old laptop, so it's not that good. All right, hey, look at that. It's pretty good.
Amazing.
We could move the X over, right? And you know, it kind of looks okay. It's and again, folks, 3 minutes and 32 seconds in. It's just a test. Can you flip on the switch? There's even a little sparkling light.
It's turned on.
It's on?
Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. We are live on, let's see, we're live on YouTube for SDGX Live and SDGX Live on Change Wednesday. Change Wednesday is the day we do what? Smile, right? The first thing is smile and make other people happy. When you make other people happy, how do you feel? Happy. So that's the first effort in conscious life. Smile and make other people happy because it makes you happy. And the second thing that we do is change. Now, can I change you? No, you can't change other people. So the main effort on Change Wednesday is to change something about yourself. So stop a bad habit and start a good habit. It's not simple. It's actually quite challenging, but you try to do something new every week, and or if it's the same thing, maybe it's to stop smoking or stop eating potato chips, whatever it is that you're trying to control in your life and stop being addicted to these things. It might not be accomplishable in certainly one day, and certainly even not in 1 week. So that's why Change Wednesday, coming around every Wednesday, gives you this chance to remind yourself that you haven't accomplished all your goals, and there's a certain amount of value that comes from picking it up again and then realizing, oh, gee, I haven't stopped smoking, so I'll quit again this Wednesday, and then try to make sure that you remind yourself that by the next Wednesday, let's try to make that happen. And then there's the third action, which is unplug. And unplug is just what it sounds like. Unplug yourself from the matrix. We started out with unplug yourself from the from your cell phones and from your smartphones, which we call dumb phones. But now it's become just unplug from the daily grind. Now you can't probably do it all day, and certainly not your phone, but you can do it for 3 hours. So everything's a 3 hours every evening from 6 to 9, let's say. Speak to your family face to face. Make sure you're part of the solution. So this again is really just a kind of a test for lighting, for sound, for things, but we're here on Change Wednesday, and certainly anybody who is happening across this is welcome to make comment, to put something in the comments. And I will tell you what has happened today. Today we've had a few things. We had a meeting with Rinpoche, with one of the Buddhist leaders, basically from Nepal. He's here in Hong Kong, and we learned about his peace sanctuary, his peace center, this idea of across religions. Like, it's not a religious place; it's a place of peace, regardless of your beliefs, and regardless of your politics and what country you come from, and so on, and your skin color and your language and so on. It makes no difference in his eyes, and certainly in my eyes, and the eyes of people who are citizens of Conscience Land. So that's what he's doing. He's raising money, which everybody's kind of struggling right in these times. Not a lot of generous. Well, there's lots of generous people around, but they don't have any money. So it's not that they're not generous; it's that they don't have any funds. Property values in this city have gone down by something 20 or 30%. So the people who were rich before, they're struggling. They're not rich anymore. Well, they're still rich, but they're, in relative terms, they're not feeling generous, because they're probably having to cut back in their own operations and fly less jets and all that stuff. So that's the reality of the situation. Is we still have to move ahead. Certainly these efforts are peaceful coexistence efforts are completely necessary. I mean, they're absolutely critical in these times, because we see the war machine. Boy, they got a lot of money. They just have to snap their fingers, and these leaders in various countries are getting billions of dollars to bomb other people and kill them. So that's not a problem. If you want to kill people, you can get the money. But if you want to live in peace, harder to get the money. That's a very strange situation or relationship we're in today. So that was one meeting, and it went really well. It was very good, and to me, it was very important too, and memorable, because this gentleman is from Nepal, and some of you know I spent a lot of time in Nepal, and it's not only a nation that is in itself on the side of needing assistance. It wasn't that long ago they had this huge earthquake which destroyed a lot of stuff in Nepal, especially the old temples and so on, which were being rebuilt the last time I was there. But it's not just as natural disasters; it's also climate change itself, which is kind of a natural disaster, and other social, economic, political challenges that the place is constantly going through. That makes it very, very difficult for the common or average person. So that's what we're also trying to address, is that, okay, this center for peace, this attractor to bring people who care about peace, it's, as I understand it, it's also kind of a negotiation center, kind of like maybe kind of like a Switzerland of the the non-political, but like a safe place for these leaders and warriors and adversaries to meet and talk peace, figure out maybe behind the scenes, how they're going to achieve peace, because clearly the population of the world does not want war. That is pretty clear. I hope, with all of this threat of conscription, there's, I think in the United States, they're gearing up for it. In Canada, they're gearing up for it. In the UK, they're gearing up for it. In France, I think they're gearing up for it. I'm not sure. I think Germany also. So there's countries around the planet who are preparing to engage, which is terrifying, and it's not terribly smart, right? Because we're in a different scenario than we were like 100 years ago or 70 years ago, 80 years ago, whatever it was, in the last World War. We were just coming into an age of atomic nuclear weapons, that was just the first bombs dropped by the United States and Japan. This was the end of that war, a terrifying power unleashed on an innocent population. So that was supposed to be the end, the war to end all wars. But it didn't turn out that way, because we've had conflicts ever since, and haven't had a world conflict yet, but clearly we're probably in it already. We just don't realize it. So that's the important thing about Rinpoche and his efforts, and you'll find out, not in this video because I don't have the information, but in subsequent videos. There's one we took with him today. We'll put how you can help him create his peace center. And of course, it's not just the individuals. He's saying like $1 from millions of people. I think that's a fantastic idea. But in practical terms, it's going to need to be more than $1, and because it won't be from everybody. It's because the giving has kind of plateaued, I think, and I think it's reducing because people are being worried about what their own futures are, so they're holding on to what they have, not because they're evil or selfish, but because they got to look after themselves and their family first. So we understand that, but there are also large amounts of money that should be available to these kind of projects. And what we hope to do in Conscience Land is assist these sustainable projects, right? Which pretty much every peace-oriented project is sustainable because it's sustaining peace. But I have an itchy nose. So that's it. Let's help all these initiatives to build these centers, to build these places. And it's not the architecture of the building itself that costs money. Clearly, I'm not sure exactly how much, but I'm sure it's a substantial amount. But that's not the point. The point of making a fantastically attractive center is so that it's very easy, comfortable, simple for people of all walks of life to come and negotiate and have their understand each other better. That's the reason to have a efficient, modern building which is well constructed and comfortable. That's the reason to do it. But the idea behind it is not the building, right? It's not so much that it's a temple or this or that. It's a center, and what's the center for? Bringing people together. So can we do it? Can we help them? Of course we can. And so that's in subsequent shows. We'll talk about that, and we'll see if we can help out in not just this project. We start with this project because it's right in front of us, and it's very, very much needed. The peace is very much needed. So we have to bring attention to raising money for peace. I think that's it. We have to bring attention to. We hear it in the news. How much money is being spent on jets and technologies and AI and this and that, all these things that will basically kill people, right? They're all machines of death. Like who's benefiting from that? You? No. Maybe some people are making money out of it because they own stocks in aerospace companies, but no, most of the population of the earth is not benefiting. So let's start investing in things that benefit to humanity as a whole. And that's projects like this, which you'll hear more about. So become a citizen of Conscience Land. You can be a sponsor, you can be a subscriber, you can be a sustainee, you can be a coach, you can be an ambassador. Join in, join the fun. Peace plus one, join the fun in Conscience Land. So that's what we're doing. That's a little bit of an exposition of what happened today on Change Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. Which every time I read, I think of that date, 2024. It's crazy that I feel sort of amazed that I've lasted this long myself. And also, we're not in the 1950s anymore. We're not in the 1970s anymore. Even the 80s, 90s. Some people dream that we'll return to those times. Nope, we're not returning to those times, period. So that whole world that we've grown up with, and certainly I've grown up with, and younger people have grown up with a shorter period of time, which is, in my view, now you've got to take it easy on me, but from my point of view, it's even more challenging for younger people because they didn't know a world before this kind of instant communication and the capacity to hide in your basement and still communicate with the world, right? That's new. That's a completely new thing. So the skills that people have to operate without the technology, in other words, face to face, those skills are diminishing. Those skills are fading away. And the other problem with it is that the leadership that comes from having those skills, and I don't mean being a boss, I mean the leadership, or we call it self-leadership, or ISR, individual social responsibility. That leadership of yourself, which is, keeping you healthy and hopefully happy and hopefully sustainable, that's the first step, is your own personal and happiness. And then that in relationship, so healing yourself is number one. Healing the relationships that you have with others outside of yourself, in your family, in your neighborhood, your neighbors, your community, the people you work with, the people you don't work with if you don't have a job. All of this is very important, because it's not all about work. It's about the relationships, because not everybody is going to have a job necessarily. Right? So that's what we see with AI coming along, is that there will be very, 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 very big changes in what we do with our time. So my suggestion is make yourself useful, right? And it's not just coding. It's not playing games online. That's fun and that's great. Keep doing that. Don't deny yourself to the real world. Start to interact with people, meet people, understand behavior, understand reading others, listening to others, being polite, being understanding, being empathetic, trying to put yourself in other people's shoes, and practice it. Nobody's perfect, certainly not me. All right, we're not perfect, but there's some of us who practice it more often than others. And that's leadership of yourself. And so if we can continue to do that, fantastic, because that automatically puts you in a position where other people see that. And then they begin to possibly trust you. They possibly want to help you or work with you or be involved in your life. You become more attractive to others because you have some self-confidence and you have some competence, right? Not just confidence, but competence. And it's nothing wrong with confidence. That's great. But only confidence without any underpinning, skills and capacities, not, you can fall flat on your face very easily. If your family tells you, oh, you're a great singer, go on American Idol and you'll win, and you can't sing, I don't think it's a real bonus. I don't think it's a very helpful thing actually to people to say, oh yeah, you're all great, perfect, you don't have nothing to change, just go in like you are, be who you are, right? That's sounds nice, but not when you get out into the real world with all kinds of miscommunication and confusion and misunderstanding and all that stuff. Then you really need those other skills. So that's it for Change Wednesday. I think we can finish it off there. I had a few things written on the board. We'll leave them for another Wednesday. So first thing, site, and you can see what we're working toward as a podcast and also a system. It's not just a podcast. It's also a kind of an inclusion system. We call it the weapon of mass inclusion, right? So it's not mass destruction. We don't want that. We want mass inclusion. So we want to stimulate your imagination and your ISR, your individual social responsibility. We want to stimulate that, and we want you to look around in your own circle of friends, your family, the things that are needed in your community, and start to operate in a way that's supporting either existing solutions to that or you bring the solutions. We call that planetpreneur, an entrepreneur for the planet, right? And we in Conscience Land and the McMaster Institute, we want to support you. We want to help you, like maybe some training. We have a thing called a 3-day course and also a 3-hour course. It's really an introductory course. But these things are to try to help you move from the matrix and try to extract yourself at least, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, so that you kind of wait for you to live. But then be testing this new thing. Be testing how you as an individual can transition from the old world, the world that's right now not doing so well, into a newer, more equitable, decentralized world where it's much more based on your relationship with your community than some, academic skill or name on your, degree stamp in your forehead. I think those days they're numbered for sure. I know because I have a few of those letters, and they mean nothing to me anymore. They did when I was younger, but today I don't care. I don't think you even know. And I don't care if you know. Because today, from this day forward, it's really about how is it you're able to help other people? And if you are able to be helpful to other people, then you have a V2S, you have a value to society. V2S. Maybe I'm doing it the wrong way. But anyway, V2S, of value to society. And wow, if we can, a small percentage of the population, if we can encourage that feeling that they are sure they'll make money and be wealthy, right? But wealth is not just bars of gold. Wealth is friendship. Wealth is a security and peace. Peace is wealth, right? It's the ultimate wealth. Inner peace, outer peace. That's the ultimate richness, wealth, ultimate. No matter how much money you have, if you're afraid or you're sick, you're not making it. So that's the idea here in Conscious Land. Become part of the solution. Peace Plus One, join the fun. Go to sdgx.live. And also, you can see SDGX there. So that's the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. X indicates it's like TED Talks and TEDx. Imagine the UN SDGs and Conscious Land SDGs. So the UN SDGs, mostly still, well, I mean, the Secretary General of the UN already said that. Antonio Guterres has already pointed out a few months ago. He said we're failing on this. We're behind. Only 50% of these goals can be addressed. So I'm not putting a whole lot of faith. I'm not completely eliminating it, but we can only look at the past performance and say, are they going to magically turn into an incredibly productive and incredibly effective group of people who are running these SDGs? No, not going to happen. We're more than halfway through, right, to 2030. So this is not going to happen by 2030 unless we take our ISR, our individual social responsibility, and we take what we want from the SDGs, from these SDGs. We just pretty much the first 7, eliminate hunger, eliminate poverty, education for all, gender equality, clean water, clean energy, those kind of things completely, yeah, absolutely we need them. Some of, and what's 13, climate action and so on. Yeah, of course, those basic ones we must address. Some of the others are a little bit more difficult to, they're corporate, just point final, that basically they're another agenda inside the SDGs. So they're maybe nice to have, but absolutely not necessary. Nice to have for the corporations, but not necessary for humanity to thrive, right? And maybe even they may even be obstacles to our thriving, especially SDG number 8, the unlimited economic growth. I think we're past it, folks. We just can't have unlimited economic growth if that requires, for instance, oil. If unlimited economic growth involves burning and carbon emissions like at an accelerating rate, I don't think we can do that. I don't think the environment can handle that, right? So for sure, like there's some. Now there's the other side of SDG number 8, which is what is it? Decent jobs or something like that, or dignified jobs, and that's true, absolutely. But I wouldn't put a whole lot of what are we going to do to make those decent? I think we have to create the jobs ourselves. I don't think we can anymore. We're leaving it up to our overlords to do that, because they clearly don't care about us. So we shouldn't be putting an awful lot of effort into serving them as like slaves. We shouldn't be serving them when they don't reciprocate the stability, the peace, and so on. That's why we're helping them, but they're not doing that. So I think that's the big shift in the world today, and that's what we're talking about in Conscious Land, is assisting you in that shift. Right? It's not violent. Nobody's fighting anybody. Nobody's, fighting. It's none of that in Conscious Land. And what we're trying to do is say, well, look, even the people who are fighting the military, the protests, like stop bombing people. Like that's pretty basic. Stop killing people. Figure out how we're going to live together. Because we only got one planet. So let's live on the same planet. We don't have to live next to each other. We don't have to live with each other. We don't have to like each other. That's not what we're saying. We're saying stop killing each other. Whatever your excuse is, your religion tells you to do it, or whatever your economy benefits from killing people. Like, why are you going along with that? Because you want to be on the end of a gun or a bullet? Of course not. No. So, what goes around comes around. So don't be supporting those industries if you don't want to be, affected by those industries. And of course, it's not just you. It's your neighbors and the people around you and your children. So I think at the baseline here, the main thing is what we're on earth to do, right? Well, first of all, we're here to learn. Okay? It depends what your belief systems are, but your soul pops into little baby's, body, comes out of your mom, and that's your soul experiencing life, right? And it's rich, poor, it's easy, it's hard, it's whatever it is. That's the experience of your cosmic soul. Right? You don't have to believe that. I'm not telling you anybody has to believe it. That's the way I view it. And so that's the learning. So it's a little bit fatalistic. It's a little bit just accept what you're dealt, except there is a free will element to it. You can improve. You can change the future. But it's here. It's in your conscience. It's how you comport yourself. It's how you act. It's how you relate to other people. So come and learn all of the things that you don't already know, because a lot of it you already know. But come and learn it as a citizen of Conscience Land. Become a citizen. Become a sustainee, which means sustain, right? The organization or the concept. Start to support, subscribe, and support in a small way. That's a sustaining. Come in as a co-educator, right? Come in. My background is teaching in university for years, so that's what I like to do, and I'm okay at it. So I think that you probably are even better than me at it, and so let's work together to educate people to feel good about themselves, to do good in their communities, and to do good on the planet, so that everybody in 7 generations down the line can be alive and benefiting from a healthy, happy environment and people that are their parents. And so that's the healing of yourself, your healing of your relationships with the people around you and your community, and ultimately that heals the earth. Because the fact of the matter is, people who care about themselves, care about the people they love, and the people who they interact with, and the natural world, they don't go around kicking dogs and breaking tree branches off and defacing, other people's property. They don't do that, right? Because they have some respect for themselves. They believe they have a future. They don't want their reputation to be ruined. So these are the social norms that make a civilization, and a lot of those things we're losing. So we don't have to. You can become a coach and help people teach that. And then the third kind of position, if you will, is as ambassador. And in Conscience Land, you can start off as an ambassador. You certainly have to become. You have to take the courses and understand what it is we're putting forward, but it's not that strict, right? I mean, as long as you agree with the general idea and the general direction of Conscience Land, it's your own conscience, it's your own life. Everybody supports your efforts to make the world more peaceful, more productive, more caring, and let's say, safer for children. What better thing? That's why you're here. Your soul journey and your children. And even if you don't have children, It's still your responsibility. You were a child once. You were a child once. So was that a good thing? Of course, I hope it was good for you. But even if it wasn't, even if it was a terribly traumatic childhood, you had to go through that. And you're here now. So now respect those other children, especially the ones in being bombed. Respect those kids and stop inflicting trauma on them. Stop inflicting violence on them. I don't care what your politics, your religious beliefs are. I don't care. I really don't care at all. Right? Just stop doing that, especially, and to anybody, but especially to innocent children. It's just revolting. It's just disgusting to see this on the television in 2024. We're not barbarians. The hell are we doing? So anyway, keep it light. Don't get too serious, but it is a serious subject. So that's us. Peace plus one. Join the fun in Conscience Land every Change Wednesday. Go to SDGX Live. Go to Conscience Land. That's Conscience Land. CONSCIENCE dot. No, not it. CONSCIENCE land LAND.com. Right? Conscienceland.com. And that you'll see some projects and some past history and various things. And you can also make comments on how to clean it up and make it better. Of course, we're not perfect at all, far from it. But if you understand and you appreciate the effort, then support it, help improve it, help expand it, and help distribute it. Okay, everybody. Peace. Plus one. Join the fun.